Geography teacher Salim Ali from Iqra APS Command and Staff College, Quetta, Kent. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. This is about the global winds, planetary winds, seasonal winds, and local winds. Our objective is that at the end of lesson, student will be able to learn about the movement of the air on the Earth's surface. So first we talk about the global winds. The global wind pattern is also known as the general circulation, and it refers to all type of air movement from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. On a larger scale, there are planetary winds and seasonal winds. On a smaller scale, there are local winds. Planetary winds. Planetary winds are winds blowing throughout the year from high pressure belt to low pressure belt in the same direction. Planetary winds include trade winds, westerlies, and polar easterlies wind. In this image, you can see that how the uneven heating of the earth is the underlying causes of the global wind system. Since the sun shines directly on the equator, air at the equator heats up and rises, resulting in a low pressure areas over the equator. Air rushes in to take the place of the warm air that has risen. Meanwhile, as the warm air travels away from the equator, it cools and sinks at 30° north and 30° south hemisphere. This circulation of the air is called Hadley Cell. You can see in this image, Hadley Cell is both in the northern hemisphere from equator to 30° at subtropical point and 30° subtropical point at southern hemisphere. And this circulation is called Hadley Cell. The air that blows across the surface toward the equator is known as trade wind. Okay, student, as the earth rotates, we know before that from east to west, winds are deflected by the force known as the Coriolis effect. Northeast trade winds are seen in the northern hemisphere as winds are deflected to the right, while southeast trade winds are seen in the southern hemisphere as winds are deflected to the left. Dear student, some of the cool sinking air in the Hadley Cell continues to move toward the poles through the circulation in the Farrell Cell. Cell means the closed circulation of the heat air toward the cold temperature. So Farrell Cell till it rises at 60° north and 60° south. These winds are known as westerlies. Why this is called a westerlies? Because these winds are blowing from west direction of the earth. At the same time, extremely cold air known as polar easterlies, which is at a high pressure belt. So from polar easterlies, the wind is blowing toward the low pressure area. Why it is called easterlies? Because that the earth is tilt due to the tiltness of the earth from polars toward the equator. When wind blows, the direction of the wind deflected from north pole toward the equator, deflected toward the right direction, and in the south pole the direction of the air deflected at left hand, because this is moving toward the equator. So that's why this is called eastern ice, polar eastern ice. Flows from the polar poles towards the equator through circulation in the polar cell. So this circulation of the air is called polar cell. In essence, planetary winds help to transfer heat from the equator to the poles so that temperature can be regulated across the earth. Now come to the seasonal wind. Seasonal wind, the movement of the air that brings along seasonal changes, are called seasonal wind. The most common seasonal winds are known as monsoon wind. The monsoon wind system that touches Pakistan in summer and in winter. Now in this figure you can easily say that in the summer season the temperature of the of the land is high, means their low pressure belt arise. So, and the characteristic of the ocean is that it gradually increase or decrease the temperature of itself. So now you can see in the summer season the high pressure belt arise on the sea level. That's why the wind blow from high pressure belt from sea level and bring with itself a huge cloud and crush with the mountains of the subcontinent, and there it rain with a heavy rain. That's why this is called summer monsoon. These winds are also called a trade wind too. But in the winter, because of the polar easterlies, the wind blows toward the equator. Now in the winter, the heated temperature of the sea gradually decrease, and it is the characteristic of the land that it easily cooled and easily heat up. So the temperature over the sea arise as a low belt, and the temperature over the land arise as a high pressure belt. So from high pressure belt, now the wind blows toward the sea or toward the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So it takes with itself a huge cloud and falls rain. But there in the southern hemisphere, we have not a great land mass. That's why it doesn't affect. But in summer monsoon, it affects because it brings with itself a flooded heavy rainfall. Now come to the local wind. So we are here talking about the local winds are the movement of the air that occurs over a small area, ranging from tens to a few hundreds of kilometers. Common example of the local winds are that land and sea breezes. During the day, land heats up more quickly than the sea. A low pressure area from over land while a high pressure areas from over the sea. Due to the difference in pressure, wind blows from the sea to the land, resulting in a sea breeze. So during the night, land cools down more quickly than the sea, and high pressure area forms over land, while a low pressure areas forms over the sea. Due to the difference in pressure, wind blows from the land to the sea, resulting in a land breeze. So this is called the local wind. Dear student, this is the picture of your textbook. At a glance, the summary of this topic of natural hemisphere. Please note down these in your notebook. Your project work is that draw conclusion about wind that blow over water surface, sea breeze, and land surface, land breeze, and how the wind will affect the climate precipitation of a place. Draw conclusion about wind that blow over water surface as a sea breeze and land surface as a land breeze, and how wind will affect the climate precipitation of a place. So student, I am waiting for your assignment. Please submit this on time. I hope you enjoyed this topic.